Kim and my beekeeping lifetime, getting packages, ordering packages has really changed. COVID, lithium batteries on airplanes, all kind of things unrelated to beekeeping has changed the way I get my packages.
Well, then there's Nucs too. That's changed.
That's a good point. So the backup plan, getting a nuke, has changed. So it's that time of the year. It's time to order our packages or our nukes. Let's talk about it, Kim. Hi, I'm Jim Tew.
And I'm Kim Flatham.
And we're coming to you from Honeybee Obscura, where today we want to talk about packages and nukes and the fact that it's time to be ordering and preparing to install those things. Again, Kim, it's that time of the year.
Yep, and this year's discussion is different than the one we had last year.
You are listening to Honeybee Obscura, brought to you by Growing Planet Media, the folks behind Beekeeping Today podcast. Each week on Honeybee Obscura, hosts Kim Flatham and Jim Tew explore the complexities, the beauty, the fun, and the challenges of managing honeybees in today's world in an engaging and informative discussion meant for all beekeepers, long-timers, and those just starting their journey with bees. So sit back and enjoy the next several minutes as Kim and Jim explore all things honeybees.
The world has changed, and it's going to change even before next spring.
Yep,
so,
it has.
How many are you getting this year?
Oh, I hate that. How many am I getting this year? You see, right now, can we tell that it's early December? We're making plans for what we'll be doing in early May. Kim, what I usually do is I look at my bee life. How many bees do I have now? How many bees do I want next May? So if I could just give you the honest number, I'll probably order from 3 to 5 packages, and then I'll probably get a couple of nukes, and that'll be just enough to add to what I overwinter and go from there. What's your guess? What are you doing?
Well, I'm probably going to order 2 of something, maybe 1 of each, 2 packages, a package in a nuke or 2 nukes, depending on what I can get where and how much they're going to cost me. I don't want any more than 4 or 5 colonies in my backyard. And if the 2 that I got through this summer make it through next spring, then I'll have 4. And if they don't make it through next spring, I'll have at least 2. And then there's the cost. These things aren't free.
Boy, that's the truth. And you and me being old, there's no reason to remember when everything costs more. But I remember when they were just regular expensive. But I understand. I mean, Kim, do you want to control varroa? Do you want to deal with all the headache of shipping packages? I mean, it's an expensive undertaking now. It's not just these people getting greedy. It costs that much to do it.
You speak of varroa. Here's one of the bigger changes in life. You get that package. Do you treat it for varroa the day you get it?
No, I don't. And I've wondered, should I? Because right at that moment, there's no brood. So if you're using something like oxalic acid, I don't think you use drugs, do you? You chemicals?
No, I don't. I do sugar.
So if I treat them with oxalic acid right then, that would be the right thing to do. Why would I put them through that if they just went through that before they were shipped?
Yeah.
I don't know that. Is that something I should ask the supplier? I never have before. Is that something I should ask the package supplier? When's the last time you treated these bees for varroa? Did they need it now, or did you do it?
And he's going to say, it's your call.
I don't want to hear that answer, Kim.
And even if he tells me, even if he says, I treated him about 2 hours ago, and they should be clean as a whistle. Because I don't use poison, I'm going to use powdered sugar. I'm going to powder sugar the heck out of that package before I ever take them out of the box that they come in. And then I'll let them sit there for a day and clean up that sugar, and then I'll do it again. And I've found over the last few years that gets rid of a lot of mites if there are a lot of mites to get rid of. Most often, I'll have maybe 1 or 2. And so I'm figuring there's probably 8 or 10 left in there someplace.
Yeah.
But
8 or 10 mites. 8 or 10 mites, right? Yeah.
Right. But I give them, a powdered sugar shake. Doesn't hurt the bees. It gives them something to eat. and I sleep better at night.
Well, I don't know that I ever sleep well at night when I've got packages being installed, queens contained, money invested, advice given, wife convinced. Where do you see sleeping soundly in all of this?
Well, you bring up a good point in terms of queens. That, too, is changing. It used to be that you got the queen that the package producer raised himself or herself, and that's what you got. It was Italian or Carniolan or a Rogue, and that's pretty much what you got now. That's changed. I mean, you can get pretty specific on what kind of a queen you want. Then take it the next step. What's the hardest thing about installing a package in terms of longevity? It's how does the queen do?
All right. She's like getting a puppy, isn't she? You might get a breed of a dog that you really want, but you can still get a bum dog out of the deal. And then you're stuck with that dog until you can find somebody else to give it to. So in a way, bees are like that. You never really know what that queen's going to do till she gets a chance to show you. And if she doesn't pass the test...
You've invested a bunch of time and energy and resources
that's it.
into her, hoping she'll produce. And meanwhile, there's nothing coming along because she wasn't laying or hardly laying. So the population of the colony, the population of the package is decreasing. So, okay, it's time to get a new queen. And then you go another period of time without any brood being produced. And pretty soon it's the 4th of July.
You just explained why, even before varroa, before everything, that the recommendation was always to buy 2 packages. That way you've got 1 package, maybe to correct what the other package did wrong. So I still cling to that. If you can afford it, at least buy 2. That way, if 1 queen is bad, maybe the other queen can carry a double package load, build up faster. Then you can split it back out the 4th of July and still have your 2 colonies there.
Yeah. Or take some brood from the package that's producing and share it with the package that isn't. Let them raise a queen themselves. It's iffy. It's always iffy. And bees are just really good at making you guess.
That's why when you have a good year, you should really brag about it. Because you were just blind lucky. I mean, you control some bites and you put supers on, but really, the queen you got, the weather pattern you got, the lack of insecticides around you, that was all beyond your control. So when you have a good year, boast about it, and then stay real quiet in those years when you took a hit.
Better Bee is pleased to sponsor today's episode of Honeybee Obscura podcast. For over 40 years, Better Bee has supplied beekeepers across the country with the tools, equipment, and knowledge needed to succeed. Because many Better Bee employees are beekeepers themselves, they understand your needs and challenges and are better prepared to answer your beekeeping questions. From their colorful catalog to their support of beekeeper educational activities, including this podcast, Better Bee truly lives up to their tagline of beekeepers serving beekeepers. See for yourself at betterbee.com.
Even if you get a package, and I'm going to talk about Nucs a little bit here in a minute because they're important in my operation. But a package, you put a lot of work and I spend a lot of time, a lot of money getting it up to winter. What do you want to call it? Winterizing health.
Yeah.
How much honey did you get off that package?
How much honey did I get off the package?
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I get any honey at all off that package.
Yeah. So you spent a whole summer's time and a whole summer's resources getting a package ready to hopefully make it through the winter. That's kind of why I look at Nucs. Nucs, you got a little bit of a head start, but there's a trick here with Nucs, and this is you got to know the producer. Is that queen in that nuke a brand new queen that he stuck in there an hour before you got there to pick it up, or has she been with that nuke all winter long?
Buying packages of bees is like buying apples and then saying, I'm tired of apples. I think I'm going to buy some oranges. Because it's a totally different taste, different fruit, different concept. So when you buy nukes, Kim, I completely agree. Who are you buying them from? How did they winter over? I mean, if you're a nuke producer and you're sitting here right now in early December predicting what you'll be able to sell next May, you're out on a limb too. So me, the purchaser, needs to have confidence in my nuke supplier that they're good enough at what they do that I can get some bees in a nuke next spring. And then you're exactly right. You get brood. You don't have that population collapse, and they build up faster. They build up stronger. If you got good queens, here we go again with the good queen thing again.
Yeah, I like working with nuke producers. And long ago and far away, when I actually made some nukes to sell, it's really long ago and far away, but when I made nukes to sell, I made them up in late summer. And this was before varroa was an animal to have to deal with. But that's the perfect time now to make up a nuke is late summer so that you can get rid of the varroa going into winter. But if I was planning on selling, say, 6 or 10, I made up 15 or 18 nukes. And coming out in the spring, I had maybe 10 or 12. I'd lose. Yep. It's a bell curve, and you lose some on one end, but you plan on that, and you end up with just a little bit more than you need, and those are the ones that you expand on.
I took a shot at that, like you said, years ago. Young man, energy, eagerness, but I tried. Those were the days. What happened? I don't have any of those days left. But I wintered nukes. And I did the 50% thing. I had about half of them survive. And then you build on those. But it just seemed to be kind of a top-heavy loss. I mean, I can lose 40% in the winter with varroa, or I can try to winter nukes and lose 50%. Either way, I'm losing a lot of bees on this whole thing. But if you could take all those big summer colonies and split them and get a new queen into it, get them through the winter, what a glorious thing it is. When you in Medina, Ohio, pack them up, put them on the back of a truck, haul them to North Florida, let them sit in this nice warm weather all year, then go back and pick them up. All you got to do, is just ride hours and hours and hundreds of miles to do all that.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me think about that a minute.
Yeah.
No.
You don't have to think about it. No, we're not going to do it. So every year, Kim, at this time, here it is. It's time to decide what resources do we want for our beekeeping season upcoming. And so should you be booking packages? How much equipment do I have? Is it ready? Am I good to go? Can I find somebody to sell me the nukes? How big are the nukes going to be? Everything's a question, isn't it?
When you raise your nukes, Jim, where do you get your queens for them? You let them raise their own, like late summer split, and you let them raise a queen that goes over winter. Do you get queens from somebody in the late summer and put them in, or do you put them in the spring?
Is that a rhetorical question, or are you asking what I did all those years ago when I was young and eager?
Okay.
When I was young and eager, we made splits, and then initially the split was a queen mating nuke. And then once it had a good queen laying in it, I had not even a good queen, just a queen laying. You try to build those up, and that's what wintered over.
Okay.
Right. Now, the rhetorical question would be, if I'm doing this as a living, I would probably try to find someone to sell me the queens. Is that possible? Do I know someone? Oh, that's another big if you can find someone to provide the queens so I can make splits off my colonies, and then I install the queen.
I ended up towards the end of doing all of that is buying summer queens from suppliers, usually California, and those queens were well mated, they were healthy, and I got them I could get them at the right time.
Yep.
So I was comfortable with those queens because of all of those factors. A spring queen, it's a shot in the dark if she's going to be mated.
Yep.
And
you're
B,
depending on spring drones, aren't you? And that's a totally separate situation.
And the other thing is, if you if you're making late summer splits and that queen doesn't take, you're not going to lose that split. You're just going to take those bees and spread them out with the rest of the bees that you got out there. So you're not out anything.
Right.
Other than the price of that one queen that you lost, but you're not going to lose a nuke.
Well, I'm pretty much confused now, Kim. Should I buy packages or nukes? That's why every year I buy some of both, just to kind of spread the confusion. And that way I can hopefully build something up enough to survive and fight with varroa, and then see what I can get through the winter again.
Yeah, the thing with packages is they start slow and they build slow, and there's not a rush. And if your life is not rushing anymore, then a package isn't a bad idea.
Yep.
But if you've got the energy and the time and the resources to rush, you're probably going to look at a little more maturity in that colony, and you're going to get a nuke.
Mm-hmm. We started by saying everything had changed.
Yeah.
And I'll come to a close at that point. Everything has changed. As a younger man, without varroa, I would have raised queens, made my own splits. In this day and age, the headache of controlling varroa, getting colonies strong enough, not knowing if you're going to have the drone population, raising queens, and then having colonies left to split, that's an overload, Kim. That's too much on me. So I would probably try to find somebody to buy the queens from with the cost of that to add to it.
I think I'll come down to your place and watch, see how you do this year.
No, we'll just watch videos, because that's all I'm going to do is find somebody else who's done it and watch them do it too. And then I'm just going to buy the packages or the nukes.
Okay.
I always love beekeeping. I'll have bees from somewhere.
But they won't be the same.
Well, thanks for talking about it. Thanks for everybody, for all the people who've listened to this point.
You give me a lot to think about again.
All right. Well, stay in touch, buddy. We'll try it again sometime.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.